Welcome to the handover video for the Chausson 768 XLB. Walking around the vehicle, on the passenger side we've got your filler point for the diesel and the AdBlue. You do need to have the vehicle open to gain access to these. Once open, simply open up, fill your diesel, and your AdBlue is located just below there. Behind that we have your mains plug-in point, where you plug your electrical cable, and your service locker. Your service locker simply opens by pressing the two buttons. To the right hand side we have your water filler point. This is your fresh water fill. Simply pull out the little spout there, turn off the cap and fill it up with your hose pipe. Two little points to remember here. For maximum and minimum levels, your minimum level only works when your pump's running, and that will reduce it to the travelling capacity, and that's located just inside there, little brown lever. The big cap's for cleaning the tank, so if you want to get in there and clean it, or you've dropped anything in it and gain access to it, that's where that's located. And you have a sticker underneath telling you where your drain point is to drain the tank down fuller. That is located underneath the vehicle on the smaller blue pipe. You have a push fit that simply goes onto the end of the pipe, fill it up and then remove it when you're emptying the tank. On the right hand side of it you've got your electrical systems, so we've got your main fuses and your RCD. If your vehicle power goes, just check that they're in that position as it shows on the video. Towards the back of the vehicle you've got your trim vent for the heating, and behind that we have got your gas locker. Your regulator is located there. You just connect the pigtail that's supplied to the vehicle, which is a rubber hose, to your gas bottle, generally set up for propane. The rear lockers, simply twist the handles when they're open, just like that, and pull open to gain access. This customer's added a couple of extras above for the standard TVs and spare wheels, but you'll see that's where they're located. Inside the little blue folder is where you find your handbooks, and the ladders are located just in the garage. They may be in different positions, these, but they're the ladders for the drop down bed on this particular model. Netting for the drop down bed as well to secure yourself in, and Chaussons come as standard with carbon monoxide, smoke detectors, fire extinguishers and an inflation kit. So you'll see plenty of space, and the bed is height adjustable. That is done by the easy lift option, which is just there. I will describe that later. One thing of point is just you have a couple of isolation points there for your fridge and your cooker, and behind this little box here you can see factory fitted vent in the rear for the heating, main socket and a 12-volt socket, and your cab carpets, which are black, and your normal loose fitting habitation carpets are located there. Moving round to the driver's side, again we have opening garage door. And again, once the power's on, we've got a little switch there to turn on light into the vehicle. Lashing points in the garage for securing items, and then you have a little fitting here to secure the side panel for when the bed's in the lower position. In the higher position you flick it up and there's a little turnbuckle to hold that in place. Forward of that we've got another marking, this time just behind the wheel, and that's for your wastewater. You'll see the little black handle just located there. Pull it to empty it, push it to close it, and that empties your wastewater. So water that's gone down the vehicle from your shower or your sink taps, that's your grey water. Above the wheel you've got your toilet cassette. Pinch together, lift it out, turn it upside down and use the little orange button to press when you're emptying. Screw off the cap, clean it out, put your toilet chemical back in, slide it back in and make sure that little handle's in the notch. You can only do this when your toilet valve is closed. In front of that we've got fridge vents and an outside awning. You'll just see above it, customers ordered an aerial, generally put in that location, and we've got your habitation door. For the habitation door, simply pull the handle. That will gain you access. There's a bin, a lock, a blind and a flash screen. To get under the bonnet, your keys go in the position at the front, turn it left, and then turn it right and lift the bonnet. That will allow you to open the bonnet. With the bonnet open, we've got our positive point, and down here we've got our negative point. You'll see there's just a label telling you there. On this side, oil, dipstick and screen wash. Okay, moving inside, we've got our main control panel. Button to the top left is your main power source. It illuminates green. You must have this on to get power into the vehicle. The button to the side of that is your light switch, so that's your master light. You can turn off the light switches using the different other switches located around the vehicle, but that is your master. Now they must be on to operate things like your bed and your toilet pump due to the electrical systems. You'll see there's a little indicator here that tells you that we're plugged into mains. I've now plugged us into mains. The third button along is your water pump. So you see a little tap. You need to turn that on to get water from your fresh water, which I've shown you, into the vehicle through the taps. The last button on the top is your awning light. That's your external awning light. To the bottom, we've got your level in the habitation battery. Next to it, your level in the engine battery. Level in the freshwater tank. And you've got a brightness and a dimness of the control panel by pressing and holding that button. That depends on how bright you want or dim you want the screen. Next to that is your Truma control panel. So you press and hold it. Everything's directed from this little circle here. Yeah, so press it again. You'll see it will come up with a motor roll. Click the button again and turn it to set the temperature to what you want. Literally turning the dial from left to right till you decide on the temperature. What I tend to do next is go onto the fuel source. So this one's a diesel heating option with a mixture of diesel and electric. Diesel and 2 kilowatt electric, electric only on 1 kilowatt and electric only on 2 kilowatts. The reason I jump to this is I select the source straight away so that it doesn't trip out the boiler. Now if you haven't got water in your vehicle, you can leave that water heater off and simply move across to your fan. The fan basically has 3 options: eco, which is slow, high, which is fast, and then once you've selected high and the fans run for a minute or so, you can go back into the system and select boost. Boost basically is an option that takes all the power away from the hot water to get your heating up to temperature as quick as possible. You'll see it times out, so all you simply do is press the button as well. If you want to then do your hot water, which you must have your boiler full to do this, guys, simply then select eco, which is slow, hot, which is fast, and then boost, which will take all the power away from the heating to get your water up to temperature. But like I say, please don't do this if you've no water in the system. So we'll leave it off for the moment because we've no water, but the heating will kick in a moment or so. Turn the button again and you'll see it's flashing low down. That's your programmer for your timer. And then the next one along is your actual time. So at the moment, if I wanted to set that, we're on 9:22. Every time you turn off the control panel though, you will have to reset that. You'll see the next button along, the little spanner, allows you to go into the programming settings. So the only thing really we'll let you know without you reading your instructions is a reset. If you have a fault code and you need to reset it, then you'll need to do it this way. Press the reset button, press it again, and it will basically initialize and reset the system for you. You'll also see there's a little indicator to tell you that you're plugged into mains on this as well. To turn the unit off, press and hold for a few seconds, and it will tell you that it's turning off. There is a previous video on this, or you can revert to your handbook. Pretty simple once you've got your head around it. Light switches throughout, which I've mentioned. Moving on to your fridge. So you press and hold that little button there and you'll see there's a little LED indicator that will light up. This function's got 3 manual options, so which you change just by pressing this little square here. So we've got the battery. Now this only works when your engine's running. Doesn't work when your engine's off. Gas, which obviously works with your gas, and manual electric options. Now, if you go round again, you'll see this auto A. That is your automatic option, which will allow you basically for it to search the strongest source within the vehicle. Most people run it on automatic. The button to the side is your temperature control. So from the warmest to the coldest. Simply press it and change it. For a few seconds it will go off, and then just press it again. You'll see that it's working because you've got lights illuminating inside it. Really good freezer compartment and a large fridge compartment. Again, for troubles, just revert to your handbook. To turn it off, press and hold that button and you'll see that light's gone out. Round onto the kitchen. Chausson are utilising the Thetford cooker, and this has 2 gas and 1 electric, a grill and an oven. Pretty standard, most people will be used to these. Similar to your home. Appliances as an igniter, electric one being this one here with the little red symbol, your 2 gas, your grill to the right and your oven to your left. Please remember when you're grilling just to leave the door open. To the side of that you've got your utensil drawer. Customers ordered TVs, so that doesn't come as standard. Your bed switch for your bed going up and down, and the main socket. Storage space underneath here. You've got sink, your tap. The blinds come up and then come down with your fly screens. They're the same throughout the vehicle, and the windows open simply by pressing the buttons in and then lifting them out. Slowly up, we'll leave it in place. All the way up, we'll close the window. Just like that. To the back of the vehicle. I mentioned earlier that this has got the easy bed option, and that simply works by removing the little tool down here, placing it in the hole and just in the fitting there, and winding it to the position that you desire. So as we're turning it, you'll see the bed's dropping down. Now you can have the bed set in any position. It's entirely up to you if you want it higher for large items or lower for easier access. The whole frame drops down. Simply set it wherever you like to. Please be careful that you don't crush items in your garage area before you move this down, but I think that's pretty much common sense. So once you've set it in the position that you want, simply just pull the bed back down. Underneath this little panel here is where your boiler frost protection valve is. Yeah, so if you might need access to it, you'll simply lift up the panel and I'll show you where that is now. So this is what we're trying to gain access to. This is your frost protection valve. Now in the position that it's at the moment, in this case pointing from front to back with the little black nipple out on the top and the blue button at the bottom exposed, that will be draining your system. You simply twist the lever around and push the button in to stop it from draining. Just like that. So now the diamond's facing across and the button's pressed in. If it is below 6 degrees in this area, it won't allow you to do that. So you run your heating on for a few minutes first of all, so it warms up that area, then it will allow you to do it. And that is your frost protection valve. To the side, on the driver's side, you have a storage compartment. Simply lift in place by pushing up that little switch there. And that lifts it up. And again, you've got a storage one on the passenger side. To get the bed down, simply push it down and that will go down. Not forgetting underneath here, we have the twin USB charging point in the rear, and I'll show you where it is in the front as well. Push the buttons in to gain access. Make sure that they're pushed in before you're travelling. And the cupboards in the middle, simply push which releases the clip, and then you'll hear it clicking in place when you go there. Now you'll see I've set one of the curtains higher, which are magnetised, or they can go lower down. The customer's added a TV, and that's where your TV would go on this particular vehicle. And we have a dividing door. So when you're in use, remove the bracket and slide the door just as so. When you're travelling though, make sure that that is connected back up to the little bracket that's supplied. Forward of that, we've got the door that locks off the centre area. So again, when this door's closed, you'll have a middle area where your toilet, your sink and your shower's located. On both of the windows, you've got a little locking pin. See it a little bit better on there, just in the top left hand corner. So open and close it by moving the switch forward and backwards. And then they all come with blinds and fly screens. The light switch for here is located just down there for both your shower and your bathroom area. The toilet cassette, press the blue button once your pump's turned on to allow you to flush the toilet, and the indicator on the left hand side will come on when it's full. So I spoke to you about the blade valve earlier. This is the valve inside which opens and closes. You do that by turning the little handle right to open, left to close. Remember to close that before you try and take out your toilet cassette. Push button again for storage, and the cupboard at the top is a sliding cupboard. Yeah. To use the fly screens and the blinds, simply pinch the two buttons together. This one has the drop down bed and the smart lounge. The table manually drops using the little red lever, and the bed operates electrically. You must have your keys in the front position, which is just above the passenger side, to allow the bed to operate. Behind this panel is your manual override as well. Before dropping the bed, always make sure that the cab seats are spinned around and there's no obstructions underneath. And then you simply press the button and the bed will drop down. Now, you don't need to drop the table to do this, but you can if you wish. Good access and light above it. Big opening window here with a blind and a fly screen located on it, and we have a winding handle to open that. The rear one on this particular model is the same as the bathroom, so a little winding handle to open it up there, and your fly screen and your blinds. Yep, you'll see your handle just here. To put the bed back up, we do tell you can leave your duvets on and your pillows. If your pillows are big though, use the little sections either side at the front to allow you to do that. When you're ready to do it, simply press the button up to raise it up, and these two little grey brackets are where your ladders go on. You have instructions on here to tell you. So simply put it up until the lights come back on, you know you're in the top position. Making up the travelling seat belts happens in a couple of stages. So you remove the cushions to show you where the bed is. Use the little black lever to pull the seat back to the position that you see there. So now we're all set up. In the cab area, we have got USB charging points and lights, Remis cab blinds on the front windows and the side, automatic gearbox as a titanium standard, aircon, CD player, passenger airbag, compartment for storage, drinks holders, and a 12-volt charging point just in the front there. To swivel the seat around from the front, you'll need to move this little bar here. Yeah, it only locks in place going forward. Until it slides the seat forward and backwards, it's this little bar here which lifts up, slide it around. On the driver's side you have your light options, and it does have an automatic option on the Ford, electric windows, locking points and cup holders. The steering wheel itself has controls for the radio and the main control panel, windscreen wipers on that side. Just through there you'll see your indicators just on there, and your adjusters are just on the side for the seatbelt height. Storage just above the cab. One last thing which I've realised I missed going through the video is how to prime your water system. So once the freshwater tank's full, you've filled up or turned off the valve for your boiler, frost protection valve in there, and you've turned on the pump button. You need to come to your taps and turn them to the hot position. Now you'll see they're just shown just underneath the lever with a red and blue hot or cold symbol. Hot on this one being towards the wall, cold being it. Turn it to hot, turn your pump on so you get a steady stream of water. Do that both on the kitchen and the bathroom. Once you've got a steady stream of water coming off, close the tap, which will shut the pump off, and then go to your control panel and select the water option I showed you earlier on the demonstration. This customer's also had a solar panel fitted and an aerial. Most of the aerials just have an on-off button. They're not standard and have been added as an addition. And that concludes the video. I hope you enjoy your vehicle. I hope the handover video has been useful. Please send us your feedback. We hope you enjoy your motorhome. Thank you.